Hello everyone. So we're going to be doing Phoenix today. I need to learn myself some Phoenix. It's the web framework for Elixir. I think I need to use it for a contract that I'm starting, so I thought I should learn it. I have no idea how hard it's going to be to set up, or how good this built-in documentation is. Actually, what I really want to do is learn live view, but we'll see how fast or how long it takes to get there. So yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. I really didn't want to start a new thing, but yeah, got to do it for work. So I'm making you guys work with me. Or hopefully, another way to think about it is maybe doing some work is actually going to help some other people learn this stuff too. We'll see. Actually, I really don't like web work. So it's kind of hard for me, Like, I never really ever feel like doing web work. I know some people are like real, like, full stack developers and everything, but for me, I've never gotten into it. All right, let's get started. As usual, I'm going to be choosing some documentation that's going to help me learn something. Today, this is Phoenix. And so the link for this will be set in the video once the stream is done. What else should I say? Yeah, the idea, well, I won't finish all of this in one setting, so there'll be a series for this, and you can follow along. I'll make a playlist for it also. And I have a Discord server, so if anything I say seems confusing or like just wrong, or you want to correct me, feel free to join the Discord server and let me know, or we can just hang out there with other people. I think that's really it, so we can just get started. All right, let's do it. Hopefully, we'll be programming some also. I hope it's not just reading. That's really boring. So here we go. We're on the Phoenix hex doc for the documentation. Phoenix, the latest version, 1.7.18 as of filming this. So let's get started. Overview. Phoenix is a web development framework written in Elixir which implements the server-side model view controller, MVC pattern. Yay. You can tell I love MVC. Many of its components and concepts will seem familiar to those of us with experience in other web frameworks like Ruby on Rails or Python's Django. I've used Django just a little bit, never like for myself, just, mucking with someone else's project. So I don't really know it that well. And Ruby on Rails, even though I program a lot on Elixir, I know almost nothing about Ruby. Other than when I see it, I'm thinking, wait, is this Elixir? And I think, oh, wait, that's not Elixir, that's Ruby. Phoenix provides the best of both worlds, high developer productivity and high application performance. It also has some interesting new twists like channels for implementing real-time features and precompiled templates for blazing speed. Great. If you are already familiar with Elixir, great. If not, there are a number of places to learn. The Elixir Guides and the Elixir Learning Resources page are two great places to start. Well, I hope I know enough Elixir that I don't need to read that. The guides that you are currently looking at provide an overview of all parts that make Phoenix. Here's a rundown of what they provide. Introduction. The guides you are currently reading, they will cover how to get your first application up and running. Guides. In-depth guides covering the main components in Phoenix and Phoenix applications. I guess these are the guides. Authentication in-depth guide covering how to use MixPH Gen Auth. Real-time components, in-depth guides covering Phoenix's built-in real-time components. What are those? Channels and presence. Okay. Testing, so we have some testing stuff. Deployment stuff. I always see Fly.io with regards to Elixir. Is that like just because I see it for Elixir, but do they exist for everything? It seems like everyone's talking about Fly.io, and I don't really know why. I don't know why people love it so much. I might have to look into that sometime. How-tos, a collection of articles on how to achieve certain things with Phoenix. Like custom error pages, file uploads using SSL. SSL is always a pain. I hope it's gotten easier since I've last done web development. Writing a channels client. All right, awesome. Next, installation. Where are we? In order to build a Phoenix application, we will need a few dependencies installed in our operating system, the Erlang VM and Elixir programming language. I already have those. A database, Phoenix recommends PostgreSQL. I don't really like Postgres, I like it. If I'm going to run a database, I'm going to run Postgres. But I don't really like it. I always hate installing it and setting it up. So I'm wondering if I can get away with just using SQLite. So we'll see if we can do that. But you can pick others or not use a database at all. Okay. Please take a look at this list and make sure to install anything necessary for your system. Having dependencies installed in advance can prevent frustrating problems later on. Let me update the stream to say we're doing Phoenix, because otherwise people will be joining and having no idea what this is about. Learning Elixir, learning Phoenix web framework. All right, so we've updated YouTube, and I just need to update Twitch. For credit to Twitch, it's a little bit easier to update. It's a little bit easier to update Twitch. Don't know why. All right, so we're up. If you don't see it updated on your screen, let me know. We did this, a database. Elixir 1.14 or later. Phoenix is written in Elixir, and our application code will also be written in Elixir. You won't get very far in a Phoenix app without it. The Elixir site maintains a great installation page to help. Erlang 24 or later. Yep, we're going to need Erlang. Phoenix, to check that we are on Elixir 1.14 and an Erlang 24 or later, run Elixir -v. Elixir -v. Erlang OTP 25, so we're over 24, and we are running 1.173. So that is better than 1.14. Once we have Elixir and Erlang, we are ready to install the Phoenix application generator. Oh, hey Unlink. Thank you. Yeah, I think my, what is it? Is it NixOS configuration Nix? I have just Erlang and Elixir LS in here, so that's how I get it. So if you're using Nix, the package names to get are Erlang, Elixir, and Elixir LS if you need the language server protocol. Okay, once we have those, we're ready to install the Phoenix application generator. So here we go. Mix archive dot install hex phx_new. Mix is basically the packaging system manager for Elixir. Probably, yeah. And so it's like cargo. Resolving new, blah, blah, blah. Are you sure you want to install? Yes. Creating stuff, and it looks like it's happy. The PHX new generator is now available to generate new applications in the next guide called Up and Running. The flags mentioned below are command line options to the generator. See all available options by calling mix help phx new. I'll just call it Phoenix new. Mix help phoenix.new. It's pretty long. So it creates a new Phoenix project. You pass in the app name, the module name, and the path will be created. It'll use the name to generate the module and the app. Specify the database adapter for Ecto 1 of SQLite 3. Let's make a new gist here so that we can save some of this nice information. Just description. This is Phoenix. And I guess we'll just call it Phoenix.md. And to start, we'll call it like setup. We needed to run, what was that thing we needed to run? This thing. And then we can see the options. And then we want the database thing in particular is database option is minus database SQLite 3. Adapter adapter, where was that? Cowboy Bandit. This is the HTTP adapter. No assets, no dashboard, no Ecto. I guess that's good to add just as an option. Sometimes you don't need a database. I can imagine not needing that. No live for live view, no Tailwind. I know nothing about Tailwind CSS. I just hear good things and really shitty things about it. All right. When passing the no ecto flag, Phoenix generators such as may no longer work as expected. Okay, so don't just turn off the database and expect everything to work. All right. Module hello world. Got it. All right. I think that's good. Let's save this. Oh, crap. Oh, I thought I created a secret one. But isn't there a way to make this not secret? Update secret. How do you oh, make public. There we go. There we go. All right, so we're okay now. It looks like it's not equal. That's probably like hash, right? There we go. All right, so I'll put this in the description later also, so you can look at it if you'd like. PostgreSQL is a relational database server. Phoenix configures applications to use it by default, but we can switch to MySQL, Microsoft SQL, or SQLite 3 by passing the ---- database flag when creating a new application. In order to talk to databases, Phoenix applications use another Elixir package called Ecto. I've used Ecto before. It's a great package, but yeah, but I hate databases, right? It's a great package. It's like saying like, "Oh yeah, I hate this thing, but this thing makes it the least shitty possible." So while I love Ecto, I don't love it because it means I'm using a database and that makes me cry. However, if you are just getting started with Phoenix, we recommend you to install PostgreSQL and make sure it is running. So I am not going to do that. We're just going to use SQLite. I mean, basically, here's why I don't like it, because I have to install PostgreSQL. I got to make sure it's running as a server, that it's running all the time, and then I have to create a user for it, and then I have to create a database for it, right? Like, it's all like a pain. But with SQLite, it's just a file, so there's no permissions, no like server you have to worry about. And if you ever like want to make a Docker for it or something, you don't have to make like another server Docker somewhere else. It's all just running one thing, really easy. And really, I'm not going to be doing any complicated. I'm not going to be doing any complicated SQL anyway, so who cares? Yeah, SQLite is just great anyway. I agree. I think if you want to scale your database and do like, basically backups, live backups, and you want like read write like duplicates or whatever, yeah, that's when you need stuff like that. Anything else I was gonna rant about? Anyway, I don't even know. I notify tools. Phoenix provides a very handy feature called live reloading. As you change your views or your assets, it automatically reloads the page in the browser. In order for this functionality to work, you need a file system watcher. macOS and Windows users already have a file system watcher, but Linux users must install iNotify tools. Please consult the iNotify tools wiki for distribution-specific instructions. I don't have this. I don't think. So, yeah, la, la. So do I just install it and that's it? So this should be easy for us, right? What is nixenv? I don't think I've ever learned nixenv. User environment, this command is to nixenv takes x1 install. Oh, so this will just add the thing to my current shell. I think I can just do nix shell minus p iNotify tools. All right, so is there a way to check if it works? How do you know that it works? Maybe there's an iNotify now? Nope. Let's look in the Nix packages. I just installed the iNotify, so why isn't it showing me iNotify? iNotify tools. Oh, I installed iNotify tools. Is that what I did? Yeah. Programs to provided iNotify wait, iNotify watch. iNotify watch. Okay, so I do have these. Great. Let's assume that that works fine then, and we'll assume we can continue. So we will say, I notify tools. If you're using something other than Nix, then you follow the instructions for your OS. And really, like, we should add it to our, if you're going to use it a lot, you add it to your config or whatever. So, all right, let's close this. I don't think we'll need it anymore. At the end of this section, you must have installed Elixir, Hex, Phoenix, and PostgreSQL. No, except for this part. Now that we have everything else installed, let's create our first Phoenix application and get up and running. Yay, up and running. Let's go. All right. So here we are. How are you guys doing, by the way? Everyone's warm, alive? It's 7:30. I have no idea what time my girlfriend's coming home today, so she might come home in the middle of the stream, or she might be hanging out with her colleagues. Every Friday night she hangs out with her colleagues at work, coworkers, and they go for drinks. You think it's real, right? I have nothing to be worried about, right? Working along. Cool. What do you do for work, Unlink? How am I? I saw the doctor today. Everything went fine. I have like an allergic reaction on my earring here. And she said I'm probably allergic to metals, like certain metals. So I need to get like, she said to get myself a really nice gold earring. So I got to figure out where to get a nice gold earring. I work for a hardware company. I make tools for our factory and internal use. Like, yeah, not tools where you like crank stuff, but like tools where you build software. That's so cool. Like a factory. What, like, I know nothing about factories. Is it like electronics factory, or are you building like metal stuff or furniture? Hey there, Neo Trinity. We're using Phoenix web framework, and Phoenix itself is based on Elixir, which is the language. Elixir is based on Beam, which is an Erlang virtual machine. I think WhatsApp and Discord use Elixir Erlang in their backend, because it's really great for concurrent programming, distributed scaling. And I've been using single board computers. What is that like? Is that kind of like a Raspberry Pi? So no crazy stuff here. And to be honest, I've never seen production. I just make software. Wait a minute. You work for a factory and you've never actually gone to the factory. Like you never, how, like, I don't understand. It's like, I work for the designers of the hardware. Okay. I'm a people person. I work for the people. I talk to the people and they do other things. And yeah. All right. Anyway, up and running. There are two mechanisms to start a new Phoenix application. The express option supported on some OSs via the Mix Phoenix New. Let's check it out. Phoenix Express. Why do I keep like thinking I'm reading Alibaba? Is there like an Alibaba Express? That's why my mind is going there. Phoenix Express. A single command will get you up and running in seconds for Mac Ubuntu. For Windows. Wait a minute. Why are there only 3 options? Doesn't this seem kind of like like lame. Anyway, we don't have Ubuntu, Mac OS, or Windows PowerShell, so let's just keep reading. The above will install Erlang Elixir Phoenix, generate a fresh Phoenix application. It will also automatically pick one of Postgres or MySQL as the database and fall back to SQLite if none of them are available. Once the command above, this is bad English. I'm gonna write this down to like fix it later. I've been trying to commit to documentation because I want to help. Where was it? Once the command above like is executed or something, right? So we'll fix that offline. If you guys want to see me fix documentation, I'm more than yeah, I'm more than happy to like do it on stream. But like, God, fixing open source documentation is never straightforward. You always think like, oh, I'm just gonna change this line here, but sometimes it's like this really crazy like process where it's using another build system to make the documentation. You can't find it. It's a mess. Yeah, Rust. I thought Rust is popular for such use cases. So Rust is popular for raw performance. Rust is much faster. Like in terms of the object code that gets generated, Rust is generating object code that the machine, like basically machine language code at the end of the day. And while Elixir is generating Beam, basically running on a virtual machine called Beam. So it's definitely slower. Rust is not garbage collected. Elixir is, right? So if you have a program that needs to crunch, like it's going to be CPU bound, Rust is much better for that. But when you need to basically run many things at the same time and keep state for these things separately, then often Elixir is better because it basically has a system to run these kind of like, they call them, well, I call them actors because it's based on the actor model in computer science, where there's these little processes. You can have like millions of them running that all have their independent state. And you don't have to really deal with locking. Whereas in Rust, I was writing some concurrent Rust code. You're still doing a lot of locking, yourself. You got a lot of mutexes, and it gets pretty complicated when you're sending data between Rust processes. Also, you have to worry about like cloning and everything like that. So a lot of the benefits that I feel like you get out of Rust start to get a little complicated once it's really thread based and concurrent. Also, like Elixir and Beam is made to easily scale across multiple computers. That takes a lot more work. Like built into Beam is basically the monitoring and the ability to like see how all your processes are scaling across different computers. So it's a lot of it's just built in. That doesn't mean Elixir is a better language. It's just there's different use cases. A lot of web services aren't CPU bound. So there's this really great article on like I think it was Discord, right? Discord, how to scale, and it was like Erlang or Elixir or something like that. Yeah, so this is a Discord blog, how Discord scaled Elixir to 5 million concurrent users. And Discord has been an early adopter of Elixir, perfect candidate for a highly concurrent real-time system. And, spoilers is that like in the end of the day, what they did was they still, it's so funny that Overwatch had a lot of users back then, is that like they took the slowest parts of it and they rewrote it in Rust. Okay, so in this one they didn't do it, I don't think. But like later on, what they did was they found other slow parts in Elixir. Well, it wasn't really Elixir, it's just that it was like doing a lot of work. and they just rewrote that one part in Rust, and there's something called Rustler, which is like Bridges, Elixir, and Rust, and it's actually pretty common to do something like that. But yeah, it's like a pie, but in big. Okay, cool. That's really awesome. All right. If your operating system is not supported or the command line fails, don't fret. You can still start your Phoenix application using mix Phoenix new. All right, so here we are now. This is us. We're in the loser camp because we're not using Ubuntu. I actually don't try to use that because I think Debian and some others are a lot more open source because they're really community driven. But let's not get into Linux distribution wars. In order to create a new Phoenix application, you will need to install, we already said all this already. Once you can run mix Phoenix new from any directory in order to bootstrap our Phoenix application. Phoenix will accept either an absolute or relative path for the directory of our new project. Assuming that the name of our application is hello, let's run the following command. All right, so we're going to make a hello web application. Look, it created a whole bunch of stuff. Wow. Which I'm sure we'll learn about. Oh, it creates the git ignore. Cool. All right, by default, it makes a number of optional dependencies. For example, oh, you know what? This is where I would tell it I want a different database, right? So let's do that. Mix Phoenix dot new minus database SQLite 3. I think that was the format, right? And then we do hello for the name. Maybe the database has to go last. All right, so that looked like it worked. Repo.x. So it's getting the dependencies, which are the third-party like packages it has to download, and it's compiling them. Ecto, Phoenix Tailwind, Phoenix Live View, yeah. Phoenix generates a directory structure and all the files we need for our application. Phoenix promotes the use of Git as version control software. Among the generated files, we find a .git ignore. We can git init our repository and immediately add and commit all that hasn't been marked ignored. When it's done, it will ask us if we want to install our dependencies. Let's say yes to that. We did that already. We are almost there. Oh, they're just copying, say what to say. Ecto create, mix ph server, and you can run your application here. Okay. Once our dependencies are installed, the task will prompt us to change into our project directory and start our application. So let's go into hello. I'm pretty sure we're going to need to do that. Phoenix assumes that our PostgreSQL database will have a Postgres user account with the correct permissions and a password of Postgres. If that isn't the case, please see You see, this is another reason why I hate databases. Okay, let's give it a try. First, we'll cd into hello. We've done that. Now we'll create our database. Let's see if this will work. Let's see if it uses SQLite. Hey, look at that. Let us look at okay, well, maybe we'll see later. In case the database could not be created, see the guides for this. Okay, we didn't have a problem. Now we can start the Phoenix server. Mix Phoenix server. Since I'm running this as a WSL, I wonder how I'm going to connect to it. Uh-oh. Failed to connect. Database is locked. That's not good, right? Now, I don't think because it's running inside of WSL, I can't do this, right? I can't just do 127.0.0.1 4000, right? Oh, I can. What the hell? Thanks. I didn't realize that. So I don't know why it wasn't happy with SQLite. If your screen looks like the image above, congratulations, you now have a working Phoenix application. In case you don't, I don't know, I don't have Windows. Well, you were right. And I have Windows, so sometimes it's annoying. I'm going to switch off of Windows soon, though. You now have a working Phoenix application. In case you can't see the page above, try accessing it with la la la, and later make sure your OS has defined la la la. Okay. Now you are ready to explore the world provided by Phoenix. See our community page for books. That's this. Alternately, you continue reading these guides to have a quick introduction to all the parts that make your Phoenix application. If that's the case, you can read the guides in any order and start with our guide that explains the Phoenix, or start with our guide that explains the Phoenix directory structure. Let's not read a book. But what I am curious about is just to see what this looks like. All right, we have too many files here. I think that's because I need to git init this thing. And now when I run this, I see a lot less. All right, so here's the README. That was basically, was this? No, this is just the README for the git thing. And here's our config. Let's see what this looks like. There's a lot of stuff in the config. Tailwind stuff. Logger. Config JSON. Dev. Here's our hello repo. That's sort of the database part for it. Database path expand hello db. Hello dev db dir. I don't think it configured SQLite correctly. That was the dev stuff. Runtime config is here. Database path. Here's the port number that it's listening on. All right, anything else interesting here? Repo.x. Oh, it does say SQLite 3. I wonder why it didn't work then. Yeah, it does say SQLite here. So that's kind of weird. Maybe it was like a fake error. All right. So there's our database. It's running. Now we'll just take a quick look at community here. There is an IRC channel. Have you guys used IRC? Like I haven't used IRC in like, I can't even remember. Phoenix channel on Discord. That's good to know. Phoenix on Elixir forum. Phoenix framework on Twitter. Boo, Twitter. And then there's some books. Phoenix in Action. I like the In Action series. They're actually pretty good. Elixir in Action is one of the best books for Elixir. All right. Let's go into directory structure. Logged into Libera chat right now. Seriously? Hey Findus, how are you doing? We are learning Phoenix today because I kind of have to use it for work coming up. I haven't worked in a while, so like, gotta get back into it. But I've never done Phoenix, so we'll see how it goes. It's supposed to be a pretty lightweight framework. This guide expects that you have gone through the introductory guides and got a Phoenix application up and running, and we did. So PHX server. We should probably write down some of this stuff. No, I forget, because I'm gonna want to know how to do this later. Yeah, so setup was this. We have that already. I think we ecto create. I think we just have to remember this. Running it is this, or interactively it is this. All right, let's just check that out. Mix PHX Phoenix server. Hey, this time do you notice that it didn't complain about a database? That's pretty neat. And then when I reload, you can see that it got the request. All right. Directory structure. Here we go. I think if we get to controllers, that's probably a good place to be, right? Like directory, request lifecycle. I don't know what plug is, and routing and controllers. That seems like the key stuff. Afterwards, it's like extra stuff, it looks like. All right. When we used the mix Phoenix new to generate a new Phoenix application, it builds a top level directory structure like this. Okay, build assets config deps lib. Lib is where all the source code goes. Priv test. Is that her? Or my neighbors? We will go over these directory one by one. Underscore build, a directory created by the mix command line tool that ships as part of Elixir that holds all the compilation artifacts. As we have seen in Up and Running, Mix is the main interface to your application. We use Mix to compile our code, create databases, run our server, and more. This directory must not be checked into version control, and it can be removed at any time. Removing it will force Mix to rebuild your application from scratch. Okay, so it's kind of like your build directory, right? Like it has all the stuff that Mix ends up compiling. Assets. Assets, a directory that keeps source code for your front-end assets, typically JavaScript and CSS. Boo, we don't like those. These sources are automatically bundled by the sbuild tool. Static files like images and fonts go into priv static. All right, so static stuff goes under priv static, but assets has the source code. Config, a directory that holds your project configuration. The config/config.exs file is the entry point for your configuration. Yeah, we had that before, right? That is this file here. And At the end of the config EXS, it imports environment-specific configuration, which can be found in dev, test, prod. Finally, config runtime.exs is executed and is the best place to read secrets and other dynamic configuration. It sounds like we're going to go in there and read like some secret stuff we're not supposed to know, right? That's not what they mean though. Secret keys and stuff like that. All right, deps. A directory with all our mix dependencies. You can find all dependencies listed in mix.exs. Yeah, so like when the dependencies are here, these are all the third-party frameworks and libraries, modules that we're using. So it fetches all of these, compiles them, and there's the compiled version that is stored in deps. You can find all dependencies listed inside def p deps do function. That's this here. This directory must not be checked into version control, and it can be removed at any time. Yep, it'll just have to fetch it again and recompile it. Lib, a directory that holds your application source code. This directory is broken into two subdirectories, lib hello and lib hello web. So here's the hello, all the hello stuff. And here's all the hello web stuff. The libhello directory will be responsible to host all of your business logic and business domain. I'm not running a business. Why are they telling me that? It typically interacts directly with the database. It is the model in model view controller architecture. Okay, so the app name directory is the model. Hello Web is responsible for exposing your business domain to the world. In this case, through a web application. It holds both the view and the controller from MVC. We will discuss the contents of these directories with more detail in the next sections. Priv, a directory that keeps all resources that are necessary in production but are not directly part of your source code. You typically keep database scripts, translation files, images, and more in here. Generated assets created from files in the assets directory are placed in priv static assets by default. Test, a directory with all our application tests. It often mirrors the same structure found in lib. All right. We're getting there. It's a lot of reading. My voice is actually getting a little tired. The lib hello directory. The lib hello directory, and that was the model part of it, hosts all your business directory hosts all of your business domain. That's weird English too. Since our project does not have any business logic yet, the directory is mostly empty. You will find only 3 files: application, mailer, and repo. Here are the 3 over here. The lib application file defines an Elixir application named hello.application. That's because at the end of the day, Phoenix applications are simply Elixir applications. The hello application module defines which services are part of our application. So we can take a look at that. Hello application, use application. And here is OTP stuff. Start, well, maybe it's not OTP. Whatever start is from, I guess it's from application. And what did it say here? What services are part of our application? So services. I guess we'll see. The hello application defines what services. Children equals, we don't have that here, do we? Oh, we do have children. So these are probably independent servers that are running that it starts up. And here is like the database one, the repo, the migrator, DNS cluster, pub sub, Finch, endpoint. If this is your first time with Phoenix, you don't need to worry about all the details right now. For now, suffice it to say, our application starts a database repository. Yeah, that's this hello repo. A pub sub system for sharing messages across processes and nodes. That's this pub sub. And an application endpoint which effectively serves HTTP requests. These services are started in the order they are defined, and whenever shutting down your application, they are stopped in reverse order. Yeah, so this is an Elixir array, so it's ordered. So it knows how to traverse it backwards and forwards. The libhellomailer.ex file holds the hello mailer module, which defines the main interface to deliver emails. Oh, wow. Swoosh mailer. That's kind of funny, right? Swoosh mailer. A mailer is a wrapper around an adapter that makes it easy for you to swap the adapter, blah, 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 blah. All right. I'm not going to use too much email in my web apps, I don't think. In the same lib hello directory, we will find a lib repo.ex. Which is our main interface to the database, repo.ex. If you are using Postgres, the default database, you will see something like this. Yeah, so you see it says Ecto Adapters Postgres, but we have SQLite 3 here. Yay, us. And that's it for now. As you work on your project, we will add files and modules to this directory. You can see, like, it's still annoying me, my ear. It's like a little infected. So annoying. The libhello web directory. The libhello web directory holds the web-related parts of our application. It looks like this when expanded. Oh, there's a lot of files here. Controllers, components. Yeah, this is the model. This is the view controller part, right? So I guess components are like views, I'm guessing. All of the files which are currently in the controllers and components directories are there to create the Welcome to Phoenix page we saw in Up and Running Guide. By looking at controller and components directories, we can see Phoenix provides features for handling layouts and HTML and error pages out of the box. I see, those are our error stuff. Besides the directories name mentioned, libhelloweb has 4 files at its root. Endpoint.ex is the entry point for HTTP requests. Let's see. What is it saying here? Slash. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not really sure what it's about. All right. Once the browser accesses 4000, the endpoint starts processing the data, eventually leading to the router. So this endpoint grabs it, right? So it probably reads the session options. Oh, here's the session options. Yeah, I don't know. And then we're looking at router. What do we say about router? The router defines the rules to dispatch requests to controllers, which calls a view module to render HTML pages back to the client. So it goes endpoint, router, controller. I guess we'll learn about that in the request lifecycle. Through telemetry, Phoenix is able to collect metrics and send monitoring events of your application. The telemetry file defines the supervisor responsible for managing the telemetry processes. You can find more information. So let's see what telemetry looks like. All right, so this is something that can start other processes. Here's the children that it would start. Telemetry polar, period 10,000. That's 10 seconds. And it looks like these are metrics that it cares about. All right. Finally, there is a gettext.ex file which provides internationalization through gettext. If you are not worried about internationalization, you can safely skip this file and its contents. Let's see, just see what it looks like. Okay, plural translation. Cool. Assets directory. The assets directory contains source files related to front-end assets such as JavaScript and CSS, right? We read that. Since Phoenix 1.6, we use esbuild to compile assets, which is managed by the esbuild Elixir package. The integration with esbuild is baked into your app. The relevant config can be found in your config.config.exs file. Your other static assets are placed in the priv static folder where priv static assets is kept for generated assets. Everything in priv static is served by the plug static plug configured in hello web endpoint.ex. When running in dev mode, Phoenix watches for changes that you make in the assets directory and then takes care of updating your front-end application in your browser as you work. Note that when you first create your Phoenix app using mixphoenix.new, it is possible to specify options that will affect the presence and layout of the assets directory. In fact, Phoenix apps can bring their own front-end tools or not have a front-end at all. Handy if you're writing an API, for example. For more information, you can run mix help Phoenix new or see mix documentation in mix tasks. Is this YAML? Hey there, A. Thanks for, the Nix tutorials. I got to do some more. I'm doing modules next, but I got pissed off because they wanted me to create, they wanted me to create a Google billing account. Sort of annoying. No YAML here. This is all Elixir code so far, and then the config stuff, which is separate. Like, let's see, this. Yeah, this is a macro, it looks like, from config module. So this is all sort of Elixir code. Where are we? If the default esbuild integration does not cover your needs, for example, because you want to use another build tool, you can switch to a custom build asset build. Okay, we're not there. We're like newbies, so let's not worry about it. As for CSS, Phoenix ships with Tailwind CSS framework, providing a base setup for projects. You may move to any CSS framework of your choice. Additional references can be found. I know nothing about Tailwind CSS or really like, I thought CSS was just files. What's Tailwind CSS? Oh, we're done with directory structure. We're up to request lifecycle now. My nose is getting really stuffed for like zero reason. Guys, I'm gonna make some tea because this is sort of like a lot of reading. So I'll be right back. I'm going to make tea. Then we'll go into request lifecycle. Hopefully we can get the controllers today. Plug. Oh no, plug's not too long. Routing. Routing's freaking long. And then controllers. Yeah, that's going to be tough. And I'm like the slowest, right? Let's see. Like we did directory, we got up to directory structure, which isn't that long, and we've been at it for an hour already. I have this dream of making like, most YouTube videos I see are 15 to 20 minutes long. And I want to make 15 to 20 minutes long videos on subjects, like they're supposed to work better and like maybe people can actually watch it. But like my videos end up being 2 hours long and it's like just one thing. It's like learning Phoenix directories and it's like 1 hour long. I think I just talk very slowly. Be right back. You guys still there? Did everyone leave? Am I all alone? Hello? Anyone there? Request lifecycle. Here we go. All right, request lifecycle. We're going to continue. This guide expects that you have gone through the introductory guides and got a Phoenix application up and running. We definitely did that. The goal of this guide is to talk about Phoenix's request lifecycle. This guide will take a practical approach where you will learn by doing. I love it when they do this. We will add 2 new pages to our Phoenix project and comment on how the pieces fit together along the way. Let's get on with our first new Phoenix page. Yay! When your browser accesses localhost 4000, it sends an HTTP request to whatever service is running on that address. In this case, our Phoenix application. The HTTP request is made of a verb and a path. Right, like get and put or post or whatever, right? For example, the following browser request translate to this. Yeah, I think you guys can read that yourselves, right? Which is kind of interesting. Like, have you guys tried to I don't know, um, I think you can just, do I have Telnet? No Telnet. Does this work? Come on. INET utils. Is this going to give me Telnet? Yeah. Why isn't this guy able to connect to himself? Oh, maybe because I'm not running the server, right? Yeah. There we go. Get /http /1.0 is it? So like you can actually type in your wow, that's a lot of stuff. That's our web page, but you can kind of just type in this request by basically connecting through TCP to this thing, and then you do the get this, and then you put in the protocol. Anyway, just thought I would mention that. Busy box. Hey there, David. So far, I'm not sold on what I am seeing on Elixir Phoenix. What do you see it? So I'm doing Phoenix because eventually you get to live view, and live view is basically a way to use TCP sockets or web sockets to push basically HTML up to the client, and it eliminates a lot of the need for coding in JavaScript. So a lot of people really like it, and there's a company that I am going to be working with that uses this, so I kind of just have to know it. So yeah, that's the main thing. No, this is Phoenix. It's called Phoenix. It's a web framework built on top of Elixir. All right. Where are we? Here we go. There are other HTTP verbs. For example, submitting a form typically uses the post verb. Web applications typically handle requests by mapping each verb path pair into a specific part of your application. This matching in Phoenix is done by the router. For example, we may map /articles to a portion of our application that shows all articles. Therefore, to add a new page, our first task is to add a new route. A new route. The router maps unique HTTP verb path pairs to controller action pairs which will handle them. Controllers in Phoenix are simply Elixir modules. Actions are functions that are defined within these controllers. Okay. Phoenix generates a router file for us in new applications. So let's see what that is again. Here it is, router.ex, where we'll be working in this section. The route for our welcome to Phoenix page from the previous up and running looks like this, get /. So here's this, get / page controller home. Let's digest what this route is telling us. Visiting localhost 4000 issues an HTTP GET request to the root path. That's this here. All requests like this will be handled by the home_to function in the Hello Web Page Controller module defined in Hello Web Controller's page controller. So this is the name of a function called home, which takes 2 parameters. That's what this /2 means, which we should be able to find that, right? So if I do page controller, here's home, it takes 2 parameters, and it renders whatever this means. We don't know yet. The first thing we need to do is create the page route for a new page. Let's open up router in a text editor for a brand new application. It looks like this. We already have a hello router, right? So what are we adding? All right, I think they're basically saying that this is what it should look like. And it does, right? We have this, we have API, we have browser, we have this, we have other scopes. Yeah, so we're not typing anything yet. For now, ignore the pipelines and use of scope here and just focus on adding a route. We'll discuss those in routing guide. Let's add a new route to the router that maps a GET request for /hello to the index action of the soon-to-be created hello web hello controller inside of scope slash of the do block of the router. That's a lot of words. But I think they just mean that we're going to make a slash hello that goes to the hello controller, right? So we're going to go in here and we're looking at this here, and we're going to add a new route for slash home that's going to go to hello controller, which does not exist yet. And inside of hello controller, it's going to call index function, I believe. That's going to take 2 parameters. So controllers are Elixir modules. Like these are going to be these are Elixir modules. This David, this type of framework is a great way to make an easy task hard. I'll check you out when we are back to Atari coding. No problem, David. Yeah, everything has its pros and cons. Take care. Can't wait to do more Atari programming anyway. We're starting to get somewhere in Atari stuff. What did we do last time? We did branches. That was a lot of fun. All right. The purpose of actions is to gather the data and perform the task needed for rendering. Our route specifies that we need a hello controller module with an index/to function. Yeah, that's what I thought. To make the index action happen, let's create a new this file. And so we're basically creating this hello controller file, right? So we're going to make a new file. It's going to go into lib hello web controllers hello controller.ex, and it's going to be a module hello web dot hello controller do, and use hello web controller. So I think the hello web is an application or something that was automatically created earlier. And here's our function that we passed, like, yeah, let's remember over here, we passed the function index. So here's the index function. It takes a connection and parameters, and we call render. Okay, so I think I've done that correctly. We'll save the discussion of use hello web controller for the controllers section, so we'll talk about this later. For now, let's focus on the index action. So this is this guy here. All controller actions take 2 arguments. The first is con, a struct which holds a ton of data about the request. The second is params, which are the request parameters. Here we're not using params, and we avoid compiler warnings by prefixing it with an underscore. The core of the action is render. It tells Phoenix to render the index template. The modules responsible for rendering are called views. By default, Phoenix views are named after the controller, hello controller, and format, HTML in this case. So Phoenix is expecting hello web.hello HTML to exist and define an index action. Oh, so when you call render, it's basically expecting this hello web, hello HTML guy to exist and have an index function. Yeah, I don't actually love a lot of these like magical things, but I'm hoping by the time we get to live view, we'll find out that we don't actually need to know a lot of this stuff. But I think it's good to know, like if you're learning something, you want to know what it's built on top of. So I do want to go through this. I just hate sort of like learning one part and then You see little bits of what it depends on all the time, but you don't know what it actually does. Okay, a new view. Phoenix views act like as the presentation layer. For example, we expect the output of rendering index to be a complete HTML page. To make our lives easier, we often use templates for creating those HTML pages. Let's create a new view. Okay, let's create a new view now. We are going to call it lib hello web controllers hello html.ex. Remember, that's this guy here. Okay, and in here we're going to define a module, hello web dot hello html, do use hello web html. All right, so this is our view now. Doesn't seem to do much, right? I thought it said it needed the index function, define an index function. Maybe when you say use hello web, it automatically creates an index function. Oh, here, we're going to add it. To add templates to this view, we can define them as function components in the module or in separate files. Let's start by defining a function component. Okay. Define index assigns do. This is so weird when like writing code like this where it has no type information. Even with Elixir, I usually like have that. So this is a sigil. It's a multi-line string. Okay, so we have hello here. I guess like this could be longer, right? Like it could have extra stuff. Hello, this is more stuff, for example. I'm guessing this is going to be HTML, right? We defined a function that receives assigns as arguments. Yeah, so that's this. And uses the tilde h sigil to put the contents we want to the reader. Inside this tilde h sigil, we use a templating language called hex, which stands for HTML plus EEX. EEX is a library for embedding Elixir that ships as part of Elixir itself. Oh, so I can write Elixir in here? It's a Phoenix extension of EEX. Okay, that is HTML aware with support for HTML validation components and automatic escaping of values. The later protects you from security vulnerabilities like cross-site scripting with no extra work on your part. Okay, cool. The template file works in the same way. Function components are great for smaller templates, and separate files are a good choice when you have a lot of markup or your functions start to feel unmanageable. I see. So this is a function template. So you put it directly inside the function, but you can have it in a file somewhere else. Let's give it a try by defining a template in its own file. First, delete our. Wait a minute. I want to actually freaking try running this. How do I run it? Hello. Let's see if what happens now. Let's see if it works. Because why did I do all this work just to delete it, right? Set in the future, parsing error. End of template. Oh, so it didn't like my P. I guess I don't know HTML. Okay, so here it is. It's running. That got this page, but now I should be able to do hello. Ah. Um, that's what it should have done, right? Processing home 2, get hello, no route to get hello. That's too bad. I saved all my files. Somewhere I went very wrong. I wonder where. I guess let's do what they said, but I'm kind of annoyed that like I have to delete this. Anyway, let's try it. First delete our assigns functions. Index assigns function. We'll just comment it out, right? Replace it with embed templates. Hello HTML /star. Here we are telling Phoenix component to embed all hex templates found in the sibling hello HTML directory into our module as function definitions. Oh, do you think it's because it was index and I needed to call like index.html or something? Let's try that. So this didn't work, but does. No, it didn't work. No root found for hello. Where did we put the route for hello? We put it. That's index. That's that. Hello controller. Oh, /home. Was this supposed to be hello? This was supposed to be hello, right? What is the best editor? There's no answer to these questions, guys. I think I wrote this wrong. This was supposed to be hello and I wrote home. So let's fix that. There we go. That's why it wasn't working, right? I use Helix Editor, and a lot of people love NeoVim. Some people love Emacs. Some people love VS Code. So, oh, you know what's really getting popular is Zed Editor too. It's like you can do collaborative editing. You can have like two people editing the same file. So it's really good if you want to show code to someone or do like, what do you call it when two people are coding at the same time? Peer programming or pair programming. Pair programming. So where are we? All right, so now theoretically this should work. All right, let's try this again. No root for hello again. Come on, I did all this work. Oh, I didn't save the file. I'm making every mistake possible in the book. All right, now it's saved. There we go. Hey, hello, this is more stuff. Look, we did it. Guys, we did it. Sorry, I don't know anything about TinySSH SFTP. Yeah, secure file, SSH file transfer protocol. I haven't really used those. Well, I mean, I used SFTP, but I don't know much about it. Where are we? Okay, so we got that working. So at least we have that. And now we're going to make this work with the template. Whoops. Okay, so we have this. Now we need to add files to the hello HTML directory. Controllers hello HTML directory. Where was that? Lib hello web. Controllers hello HTML directory. All right, so we have to create that directory. Okay, so we created that directory. Note the controller name hello controller, the view hello HTML, and the template directory hello HTML all follow the same naming convention and are named after each other. Okay, they're also co-located together in the same directory tree. We can rename the hello HTML directory to whatever we want and put it in the subdirectory lib hello web controllers as long as we update embed templates accordingly. So in our embed templates here, we need to make sure it would be updated here. Uh-oh, did I lose connection? No. It's running. I don't know why my thing's telling me there's a problem. However, it's best to keep the same naming convention to prevent any confusion. So here we are, hello web controllers, hello HTML, that's the one we just created, index.html.heeks. A template file has the following structure: name, format, templating, language. In our case, let's create an index file. Okay, so we'll make a new file and we'll save it as lib hello web controllers hello HTML. There should be a directory, index.html.heeks. All right, so we wrote that, and in it we're going to make section, and I guess we'll close the section too, and we'll have somebody just hit my door. That's really scary. Why would they hit my door and run away? All right, so we have hello world from Phoenix H2. We'll save this file. Template files are compiled into the module as function components themselves. There is no runtime or performance difference between the two styles. All right, function components. All right, so all of this turns into a function later anyway, so it's not like it's slower or faster. Now that we've got the route, controller, view, and template, we should be able to point our browsers at, okay, so this should work too. Let's run. Here, I'm gonna make sure I saved all my files. Yeah, I did. Running the server. And now I'm gonna click reload. Instead of hello, this is more stuff. It should now save hello from Phoenix. Hello world from Phoenix. Yay. Awesome. There are a couple of interesting things to notice about what we just did. We didn't need to stop and restart the server while we made these changes. Yes, Phoenix has hot code reloading. Also, even though our index.html.hex file consists only of a single section tag, the page we get is a full HTML document. Our index template is actually rendered into layouts. First, it renders live hello web components layouts root.html.hex, which renders this other app.html.hex, which finally includes our content. So I guess there's like different layers. If you open those files, you'll see a line that looks like this at the bottom, inner content, which injects our template into the layout before the HTML is sent off to the browser. So let's see that real quick. So there's root.html, this guy, and you see that it has inner content in here. And then where does it say app? Oh, app.html. Where does it do that? There's no app.html. And then here it has inner content. So does that mean if I do like foobar here, I'll see my foobar on the hello world? Oh, I'm not running the server. Oh yeah, it does. I guess we've validated that's how it works. Okay, cool. Note on hot code reloading. Some editors with their automatic linters may prevent hot code loading. That's not us. From endpoints to views. Ooh, this is a lot of work. There's a lot of learning. It's just a lot of talking, actually. As we built our first page, we could start to understand how the request lifecycle is put together. Now let's take a more holistic look at it. All HTTP requests start in our application endpoint. You can find it as a module named helloweb.endpoint. Yeah, we have that. So it starts with, oh, why don't endpoint? There it is. It starts with this endpoint. Once you open up the endpoint file, you will see that, similar to the router, the endpoint has many calls to plug. All of these plug guys. Plug is a library and a specification for stitching web applications together. It is an essential part of how Phoenix handles requests, and we will discuss it in detail in the plug guide coming next. For now, it suffices to say that each plug defines a slice of request processing. In the endpoint, you will find a skeleton roughly like this. Yeah, we have static, we have request ID here, telemetry, parsers. Here's our parsers, method override, head session router. It didn't show some of these other things. If code reloading didn't do these other things. Each of these plugs have specific responsibilities, have a specific responsibility that we will learn later. The last plug is precisely the Hello Web Router module. That's this guy. This allows the endpoint to delegate all further request processing to the router. As we now know, its main responsibility is to map verb path pairs to the controller. The controller then tells the view to render a template. At this moment, you may be thinking this can be a lot of steps to simply render a page. How many of you are thinking that, right? That is a lot. We will see that each layer serves a distinct purpose. Endpoint. The endpoint contains all the common and initial path that all requests go through. If you want something to happen on all requests, it goes to the endpoint. Router. The router is responsible for dispatching verb path to controllers. The router also allows us to scope functionality. For example, some pages in your application may require user authentication, others may not. Controller. The job of the controller is to retrieve request information, talk to your business domain, and prepare data for the presentation layer. What was in the controller? Oh yeah, we had the render. We added home, right? Yeah. We added this hello controller that has the render with the index, which goes into the view stuff. The view handles the structured data from the controller and converts it to a presentation to be shown to users. Views are often named after the content they are rendering. So yeah. When we added this into the controller, that was over here. That's pretty far back, isn't it? Here, we added this into the controller. That created this new hello controller, which expected hello web, hello HTML to exist. Because it's the hello controller, it's looking for a hello HTML to have an index function. And so hello web.html, that's this guy here that we made. And we then used the embed stuff in there. That told it to look for all the templates inside of this directory, and that's where all the Heek stuff went in. Alright, so I think I generally follow the path, but it's a little hard to keep everything in mind, you know? So they're going to add another page just so that we can practice. All right, let's go back to our, oh, we're going to add a new show action. So we're going to go back to our hello controller. That's not this guy, is it? That's not this guy. Look, how many controllers are there? Hello controller. Here's our hello controller. Show action. What am I confused about here? Let's look here. Ah, here it is. So we're going to add a new controller. Right, so we're going to add a new route, but we're going to... I see. So here we said slash hello goes to this index function. But if it's a hello slash messenger, I don't know what that is, then we're going to also go to the hello controller module. However, this one we're going to call the show function instead. That's what that means. Messenger. Notice that we are using the messenger. Oh, I wrote messenger. I wrote everything wrong. Messenger. Syntax in the path. Phoenix will take whatever values that appears in the position in the URL and convert it into a parameter. For example, if we point the browser at 4000 hello Frank, the value of messenger will be Frank. Oh, so it's kind of like pattern matching, but in URLs. Okay. Another new action. Requests to our new route will be handled by the hello controller. So we have to go into hello controller. Oh, let's save this first. Then go to hello controller. And I'm guessing we're going to need to define a new action here. Show action. We already have the controller here, so all we need to do is edit the controller and add a show action to it. This time we will need to extract the messenger from the parameters so that we can pass it, the messenger, to the template. To do that, we add the show function to the controller. So it's taking connection, and we have parameters here, which looks like it's a map. This is the syntax for a map. And there's going to be a string value called messenger in the map, and pass it as the variable messenger. So this is pattern matching this and storing the value into this variable messenger. Do render connection show messenger messenger. So this is a keyword list. It's just passing this as a value with the key called messenger. So it's just basically changing this from a string key to an atom key. All right, and this is the show function that it's going to be looking for in the whatever, what is it called, a view? All right, within the body of the show action, we also pass a third argument to the render function, a key value pair where messenger is the key and messenger variable is passed as the value. That's what I was talking about over here. If the body of the action needs access to the full map of the parameter, in addition to we could show it like this. Yeah, like basically this is just Elixir stuff, but if you wanted access to the whole thing, you can do params, and now in here you can access the full params also. But I'm guessing we don't need to do that. It's good to remember that the keys of the params map will always be strings, and that the equal sign does not represent assignment, but instead a pattern match assertion. I think they mean this equal sign here, which isn't really an equal sign. Oh God, this is a lot. Oh, my back. What are we at? We're almost at 2 hours. Another new template. Okay, we're just going to stop after request lifecycle, and I can learn more of this stuff later. Or maybe I'll learn more later tonight. I don't know. All right, another new template. For the last piece of this puzzle, we'll need a new template Since it is for the show action of the hello controller, it will go into this directory, hello HTML directory, and be called show.html.heeks. It will look surprisingly like our index.html heeks template, except that we need to display the name of our messenger. I see. So this is just the name of the template, right? It's so hard to remember everything. To do that, we'll use the special heeks tags for executing Elixir expressions. These curly braces and this open angle bracket percent equal and percent close angle bracket. Note that EEX tag has an equal sign like this. Yeah, just what I said, angle open angle bracket percent equal. That means that any Elixir code that goes between those tags will be executed, and the resulting value will replace the tag in the HTML output. If the equal signs were missing, the code would still be executed, but the value would not appear on the page. All right. Remember, our templates are written in Heeks, HTML plus EEX. Heeks is a superset of EEX and thereby supports the EEX, those angle bracket interpolation syntax for interpolating arbitrary blocks of code. In general, the Heeks, the ones with the curly braces interpolation syntax, is preferred anytime there is HTML-aware interpolation to be done, such as within attributes or inline values with a body. The only times the angle bracket interpolation is necessary is for interpolating. Here's an error, a spelling error. I'll note that also. Does this store it? Interpolating arbitrary blocks. Yeah. Interpolating. Such as branching logic that, whoa, another error. Inject separate markup trees, or for interpolating values within script or style tags. This is what the hello underscore HTML show.html.heeks template should look like. All right, let's do that one. So that's new, and then where do we store this? This is in lib hello web slash components, right? Layouts. No, I'm in the wrong place. Let's try to remember. Web controllers. Hello HTML. Show.html.heeks. There we go. And then it's section, close section. I can't believe I'm writing HTML. It's been so many years. All right, so here's the interpolation aspect that we're just talking about. Okay, I keep typing messenger. Messenger. hello world from Messenger. Okay. So it looks like we should be able to just run this now, right? Our messenger appears as at messenger. The values we passed to the view from the controller are collectively called our assigns. We could access our messenger value via assigns.messenger, but through some meta programming, Phoenix gives us the much cleaner at syntax for use in templates. We're done. All right, so let's try it out. Are any of these not saved? No, they're all saved. Let's run. We should have just run EIX in here, right? What was it called? Phoenix. Hello, and it was like EIX minus X mix dot Phoenix. What was it called? Minus S mix Phoenix server. Mix Phoenix server. Damn it, they don't have the tools here. Forget it. We'll just run it here. All right. So this still works. But now if I do hello slash, let's come up with a name. Let's call it Frank. Hello world from Frank. So we passed in Frank in the URL. You can see that on the top here, right? And it said hello world from Frank. So I assume we could probably Frank. I wonder if more stuff can fit in here. No. So slashes are important. It pattern matches just this. But if I bet we can escape stuff, right? No, it's called URL escape. Why do they make it so hard to do things? Frank Smith. What was it's ampersand 20 is space. So if I put in ampersand 20 here, there we go. Hello from Frank Smith. The other thing that should work, right, is instead of this syntax, they said that we should be able to do, what is it, this? Was that the syntax? Let's see, what would it say? Yeah, this syntax. Maybe the at sign is no longer used, but let's see. All right, so that worked still also. Okay. And then they said basically if I get rid of this, it will calculate, but it won't actually display it. So now this should still work, but we won't see the name anymore. Yep. Just like they said. So I guess that covers everything. It's a lot to remember, isn't it? But I guess like you can just go to another page on here right before they kind of like summarize the endpoint router controller view. So that makes it a little bit easier to see it in one place. And then you can always look at what you did for another new route. And that kind of makes it simpler because it's a lot less verbose. All right, in the next video, we will do, probably not the next video, but like, we will do some plugs and we will do routing and controllers. for Elixir. I think that'll cover it for today. It's been about 2 hours. Um, I don't think people are as excited about Elixir for some reason, but I gotta do it for work, so why not share it with you guys anyway? Um, yeah. So do like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or follow on Twitch. Thank you so much for keeping me company while I basically work. Um, yeah, I think that's it. There's a Discord server if you want to join and chat. I'll be updating the VOD description on YouTube to have links for all those things. And I will see you probably tomorrow. What do you guys want to work on tomorrow? It's either Atari or COBOL or Nix. Those are our options. What do you think would be better? Atari, COBOL, or Nix? I think for me, like we haven't done a COBOL video in a while. And I've been avoiding it just because it's so painful. It gives me mental damage. So I feel like I need like some recovery time every time I do COBOL. But God, I really enjoyed Prologue. I really want to do more Prologue, but like I gotta finish stuff. We gotta like keep moving forward on the ones we've started, you know? So gotta move forward on Nyx also. So maybe we should do Nyx also next time. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. Stay warm and see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.